Welcome back to another video, guys. I'm really excited about this one. This was a keynote that I gave in Agency Founder Accelerators group in Cancun a few weeks ago to a room of the top agencies in the space. This presentation is all around authority first selling and how to build more authority in your sales process to double your closing percentages and collect more cash. Now, listen, before I get into this video though, guys, these keynotes are a bit exclusive. Eddie does not normally share these presentations outside of the AFA community. For those of you guys who don't know, Agency Founder Accelerator is our highest level mastermind. Everybody in this room is doing over 100K a month. There's multiple guys doing 8 figures a month in their agency attending this event. And so normally these keynotes that are recorded are only reserved for the AFA members within the community. But because Eddie's a business partner, allow me to share this video with you guys on YouTube. So sit back and enjoy this presentation all around building more authority within your agency and your sales process. So today I want to chat with you guys about sales, specifically about positioning when it comes to sales, right? Who here likes sales? Who likes making money? Hopefully all of us, right? And so I want to talk specifically about how we can position ourselves better to close more deals, ideally close at higher pricing more often, double your cash collected, which is very possible for a lot of you guys with a couple small changes. And so that's what we're going to be jamming on today. Before we jump in, I just want to get a bit of a beat on this. Who here is an agency owner still taking sales calls, which is great if you guys are. Love it. Okay, a lot of you guys. Awesome. Who here has a closer, one closer who's closing for you? Cool. Anybody have 2? 3, 4, 5. Damn, okay, awesome. Love to hear it. So everything we're gonna be chatting about today is really applicable to you if you're closing within your agency, as well as stuff that you can be putting on your sales team to make sure that they are dialed when it comes to specifically one topic that I'm gonna drill home today, okay? Let's see if this thing is gonna work for me. Beautiful. All right, so in the last, this year so far, I've done over 300 call reviews for agencies specifically, just agencies in the marketing space, every niche you can think about. And there's always one thing in common that they all struggle with. And we change this one thing in the business and it makes a massive impact. We're gonna be focusing on that specifically today, okay? Now, you guys probably, it's not leads. This is the number one thing I hear from every agency owner I talk to is I have a lead problem. When reality is most agencies I talk to have the same amount of lead flow as bad marketing, right? And I'm gonna show you guys that in a second. But they're drastically under closing, and it's mainly because of one topic we're going to talk about. It's not a lead problem, it's an authority problem. Okay, so I want to really push this one concept home for everybody. I grew up as a pastor's kid, and every Saturday I watched my dad prepare for his sermons the next day. And I always asked him, like, what are you going to be focusing on? And his goal for every Sunday was to give one good thing that somebody could take home with them, and that would be really impactful. And so I'm going to share a bunch of stuff today. We're going to cover a lot of things really, really quickly, but I just want this one thing to really sink in with you guys. If you could take home one thing, this is going to be it. And that is I want you guys focusing on authority first selling, okay? Authority first selling. Can everybody say authority for me? Authority. I love it. So this we're going to be focusing on today. This is going to be the concept of everything that we're going to be talking about. And so you're going to probably get annoyed by how many times I say this, but it's so important. Authority is the positioning that we are going to hold on our sales calls. All right, example of this. This is an agency, it was actually an AFA. They were closing consistently at $20K a month in cash collected. This is a local lead gen agency, all right? Average price is around $3,300. Closing percentage is 35%. This looks decent, right? For an agency that does about $150K a month in revenue. It's not brutal. With the changes of authority positioning, nothing else changed in their sales process. We were able to add a significant amount of cash collected. So specifically, guys, this is crazy. 21 sales calls was taken by 2 closers. So really like 10 calls a month. That's not a lot of sales calls. That's like nothing, right? That's nothing. And they're both closing above a 50%. They're at a 62% close rate, $55,000 in cash collected. This is cool, right? But all that matters is consistency. We can all have one big month. That's great. But can you do this every single month? For as long as possible. The reality is that this agency could not sustain this. We did it from 3 months of this year. So in December, they had a 20K cash collected month. January, February, March, we hit 55K, 50K, and then 60K in February, and we bottlenecked their entire company. They had to build 2 other pods, and this month was actually on a 4-week waitlist month. Okay, so 4 weeks, and we still collected this amount of cash, all because of positioning around authority. Another example of this is some of my months here specifically, and I wanted to point this home, guys. Live calls. This is bad marketing. 18, 13, 26, or 29, right? We're able to collect a lot of cash at a high percentage, and the reality is a lot of us know sales skills just the same as me. The only thing is we're focusing on authority. And so we're going to talk specifically about how to do this in a practical way throughout this presentation. And this is going to be relevant to every niche, every agency, size, price point, from $1,500 up to $30K. Sound good? Yep. Beauty. All right, a bunch of examples of this. I'll skip through this relatively quickly. Bunch of people doubling prices, which I love to see. This is what we're going to be covering today. There's going to be a lot of stuff. We're going to go through this relatively fast. I'm going to get a sip of water here. And so the main core focus I want to chat about is the top two. And then we're going to get kind of a rapid fire near the end to go over audits and then hiring top talent. All right. Go back to double fisting. Mo, hold that for me, all right? Thanks, brother. All right. So a bit about me, if you guys don't know who I am. My name is Kurtanderton. I've been in B2B sales for the last 10 years now. Technically a lot more than that. I started doing door-to-door in a landscape company when I was younger. Just kind of a bit more about me. Head of partnerships at Bad Marketing. Eddie said 2 years. It's actually been 4 years next month, but it's okay, Eddie. That's totally fine. Yeah, it's okay. My favorite thing on this list, though, out of everything, is specifically that I outclosed Eddie last year by quite a lot of the year. I like to tell this story. So there was 4 months in a row where I was doing it was like 6 figures plus cash collected, and Eddie was a little bit behind on cash collected. We all know Eddie can close. And I was ahead of him, and so of course I'm gonna poke the bear. So every lead reporting call, I was like, hey Eddie, look at that number. Hey Eddie, where are you? Where are you? And then finally he sat me down in Discord and was like, you poke the bear, you gonna see what's gonna happen? And I'm like, come on, bro, there's 2 days left of the month, you can't beat me, there's no way. And Eddie went on to collect just under 200K in cash collected in less than 24 hours, just to smite me. Love this story. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right. So one thing I want to point home, guys, authority is why we're all here today. Agency Founders Live, this is just the live events, has done over $202 million in revenue in the last few years. 60% of this has come through DM sales and SMS, not even sales calls. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have signed up for these events not being on calls. All of this is because of this man's authority, right? And this is something about Eddie. I get the joy of being able to work with Eddie one-on-one behind the scenes all the time. And the biggest thing that I've taken away from Eddie over the last 4 years is the authority is the most important thing about everything you can do. If you look at his social media, he doesn't care about views, about viral content. All he's focused on is how do I position Bad Marketing, myself, as the best possible in the space in any way possible. So YouTube, for example, can I go back? All of his videos are him on stage. Lots of authority, right? So I want you guys really thinking, how do you guys start to focus on how do I build authority in my market specifically, right? What do I need to do? What do I need to add? How do I need to position my content? Because this is all that matters in the end, right? We've all seen content, highly edited, really vague, value-based content. It's not something that we're interested in. If you're trying to attract business owners, you have to have a lot of authority in these different pieces. So specifically, the meaning of authority. This is what I want to drill home when it comes to your guys' sales process. Authority refers to the power or right to command, make decisions, or enforce. This is pretty awesome, right? This is powerful. How many of you guys think that your clients want this out of their agency, right? The biggest thing that I hear is, oh, the last agency we worked with, they were not proactive, they were super lazy, communication was poor, and I had to ask them to do shit, right? Nobody wants that in their agency. This is what we want. This is what our prospects want. So this is huge, guys, especially command, make decisions, or enforce. The 3 biggest mistakes I see all these agency owners make out of the 300 calls that I'm focused on is you guys are focusing too much on creating value, giving stuff away, showing how good you guys are, right? This is what everybody's been doing for a decade in agency space online. Trying too much to be liked. Trying too much to be liked. A lot of you guys, and I've seen your calls, are too worried about making an impact, being liked by your prospect. They don't care. They don't care at all. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. You guys are all successful business owners in this room, all of you. If you had a major problem in your business, huge problem in your business, and you had 2 people to choose from who's gonna solve it, are you gonna go into a sales call and talk to the guy that's nice, you'd wanna have a beer with, right, maybe hang out with? Or are you gonna talk to the guy that is clearly an expert, led the sales call, totally in control the entire time, clearly knows what he's doing, he's super direct, and doesn't care about being liked, right? Who do you think is more likely to solve your problem? Right? The expert, of course. So it's going to be really hard, but we have to stop caring so much about being liked. Get them in the door with authority and positioning and expertise, and keep the relationship long-term on the back end. That's how we win here in a big way. So let's get into the practical stuff. How to build authority in your sales process, like specifically, we'll get into the details. What does your sales process look like? Going back to thinking with authority, a lot of us have the exact same sales process. We run an ad, we send a cold email, they opt in, maybe they auto book on our calendar, they get notifications from Zoom or go high level, right? Some of us have setters calling them, some of us are maybe, hopefully doing manual outreach. They hop on a demo, you guys are like, how's the weather, right? Where are you guys from? Thousands of agencies this is the exact same process for everybody. And so if we're trying to stand out, like, who's here is noticing in the market right now that everybody is burnt and like trust is an all-time low for prospects? Are you guys seeing this? Right? They're hopping on, I talked to somebody yesterday. They've been on 20 sales calls this week with agencies, 20, right? Everybody's starting their call the exact same way. The process is all the same, right? And so the only thing that these guys are focused on is like, what's the unique mechanism in the offer that I'm gonna choose, right? We need to be focusing on experience. So we're gonna talk about the unexpected standard really quickly. This is really important. This is actually relevant to being in this beautiful resort right now. I can't remember the guy's name who did this, but I should have looked it up. Talk about an unexpected standard. White glove service goes beyond what customers typically expect, offering added value and a premium experience. Beyond what customers expect.
I think it's Ritz-Carlton.
Is it? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Eddie. I should have just like ChatGPT there or something like that. Okay. There you go. You did, didn't you? Beyond what they typically expect. This is what we need to be focusing on. What can we be adding to our sales process to create extra value, create extra authority beyond what customers are expecting? So I have this analogy, and it's perfect for this, right? You guys go stay in a hotel. It's a cheap hotel, right? You walk in the door, you go through the entrance, there's some cheap music playing, there's nobody at the front desk. You walk up, you ring the bell, somebody comes out, they have no idea who you are, they weren't expecting you. They give you your room key, you get lost trying to find your room. You get there, there's nobody guiding you there. You open the door, average hotel room, kind of smells funny, lights are all off or they're on, maybe somebody's in the room. It's just like a poor experience, right? That is literally what 90% of agency sales process is like. People are opting in and just hoping somebody shows up to the call. It's crazy, and if you think about it, especially now with automations, people aren't getting these automated emails, these text messages, they don't care. Like Android's starting to just block all spam text anyway, so they're not even gonna see your automations. And so we need to start focusing on a 5-star experience. And I love the experience coming here, right? You got a text message on the plane that your driver was waiting for you. You get into the car and there's freaking Coronas in the car with you, right? Already I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. This is the best experience I've ever had. You get to the hotel, somebody opens your door, and I was paying attention because I knew this analogy was coming. The driver told the front entrance person my name. They radioed ahead. Somebody opened my door, used my name as I got out, walked into the lobby by name. There was champagne waiting for me on the table. Like, I haven't even checked in yet. I haven't even seen the room, and I'm like, this place is sick. This is the kind of experience that we need to be building in our sales process, okay? This is what I want you guys to focus on. But there's a misconception with this analogy. We're not trying to roll out the red carpet for our customers to do whatever the fuck they want. That's not what we're trying to do here. So I use this analogy instead. Thank you, ChatGPT. You need to build a 5-star dining experience. Eddie, I think she nailed it. Right? Come on. We need to build a dining experience. You guys go to a fancy restaurant, right? There's standards there. You can't just walk in out of the pool in a bathing suit and expect to get in, right? There's standards. Eddie's a qualified person. He's probably got an Amex, right? He can afford dinner, but they're preventing him from coming into the room because he's not dressed properly. He needs to be in a suit, whatever it is for the specific dining experience. This is the energy we need to bring to our sales process. Your prospect might be qualified financially, but are they actually a good fit? And you need to make them feel that way. Sometimes you need to turn people away even though they have money because they're going to be maybe rude to your team. Maybe they're not aligned with what you want to do for them. Maybe they're not letting you have control and letting you lead the way that you want to. You need to be able to turn them away. This is the stuff that builds authority. Everyone make sense? Yeah. We good? Yeah. Cool. I get another sip of water here. So what I'm seeing time and time again on sales calls is, again, we're focusing too much on being liked. We hop in, we're trying to create general conversation to connect with them and build rapport, right? We need to be focusing on authority, building trust, taking control of our sales calls. I'm gonna give you a good analogy that's coming up here next. How's the speed, guys? We good? Yeah. 2x speed fine for you guys? Yeah. Cool. We awake? We awake? All right. All of this stuff has to happen before the sales call. The number one piece of feedback I get in our sales process is that people will show up to my call and the sales call and be like, damn, your guys' sales process has been amazing so far. Like, that's the feedback I'm getting before I even talk. And they're already impressed because our setting team's incredible. They're gonna go over some specifics, right? These are a few different items I want you guys to focus on. Big thing here, you must have more authority. You must have more expertise than your prospect, and you have to show that. A lot of you guys know way more about our prospect's business than they realize or even know about themselves, but we're not showing it because we're going through this sales process trying to be liked, not asking deep questions, not challenging our prospects. A really great example of this is I was on a sales call with Eddie recently, and we're talking to a really big info offer. They do millions a month. This guy hops on, immediately starts the conversation, and he's starting to talk about how amazing their program is. And we've worked with so many of these offers in the same industry. And Eddie stopped him and was like, yeah, we've worked with so many people doing exactly what you guys are doing. What's even different about your offer? And the guy was like, and there was nothing different. There was nothing different about his offer. And he thought he was hot shit. And Eddie challenged him on that specific topic, putting him in a position of authority, having more status on the call. The guy shut up, let Eddie do his discovery, and closed, right? Do you think other agency owners are challenging people like that and pushing back and being like, dude, you make $2 million a month, what are you doing? You're just like everybody else, right? That's the kind of energy we need to bring to these calls. Couple points. Who here's read and or reviewed 48 Laws of Power, right? Kind of a dark book, but a powerful book, right? One of the laws is making people come to you. You want to be in a position where people are coming to you. Another great example of this, in January, we were at a event, Funnel Hacking Live event. We were having breakfast, and we had another business with us. They're doing $100 million a year. We're sitting at the table eating steaks in the morning, and this guy is talking to Eddie, and he leans over to Eddie and is like, dude, why aren't we working together yet? Like, why aren't you guys running our ads? And Eddie just kind of shrugs, just keeps eating his steak, right? Like, person just showed intent, massive company, and Eddie's just here playing the long game. And when they're ready, they're gonna come back. And it's gonna be the easier close, we're gonna have a better positioning, they're gonna trust us even more. And this is what I want you guys to start thinking about. How do we get people coming to us? Qualify everybody. So on a sales call, you should be focused on qualification. You almost want your prospects to feel like they're going through an interview with you. You're asking them hard-hitting questions. You're asking them questions that nobody's asked before, putting them in a position where they are trying to win you over on why they should be on the call, why they should be working with you as a client. And if you do this right, it's really powerful. Qualify everybody. Protect your process. Nobody gets to change our sales process. I'm gonna give you some more examples, but nobody gets to change it. Somebody hops on the call and they ask me a specific question or wanna know price or whatever it is. They don't get to know that until we go through my sales process. This is my house. And that's the energy we bring to the sales process. Our setter, she's the exact same way. Somebody hops on the call, nobody can cut her off. Nobody's gonna lead her through that call. Nobody's gonna be asking her questions. She's gonna be leading, and if somebody's not able, like actually letting her do her process, she ends the call. Sorry, you're not gonna be a good fit. Prospects hate to get turned away, right? Imagine talking to 20 different agencies and one of them turning you away, right? That's gonna sit. And maybe they don't come back next month, but eventually they're gonna come back wanting to work with us. And we already talked about this, right? So here's a bunch of little things. Again, we're gonna go through these rapid fire. This is all little stuff that you guys can add to your process. Hear me out for a second. The little things stack. When we're talking about increasing a closing percentage, we just need these little changes and we can make a massive difference, okay? Always be first. This is a good rule of thumb for all of you guys when it comes to even interactions, right? We're entering into a conversation. Be the first one to shake a hand. Be the first one to smile. Be the first one to say hello. They hop onto Zoom, that mute button, the red line leaves, you're the first one to say hello. You're the first one to start the conversation, all right? You're the first one to lead. Setters are not impressed by big numbers. So Eddie has this line, I'm sure you guys have seen the content, where somebody tells you a revenue number and you just ask and assume that it's monthly, right? Oh, hey, we did 10 million. Is that monthly? Right? You're automatically making them feel like, oh, these guys aren't impressed by my yearly revenue of 10 million, or even like the last few years, right? People come and flex on us. Our setters are making comments like this. Right? Our setters are making people feel like, damn, these guys work with really big people. Are setters challenging them, asking hard-hitting questions, trying to qualify them before they can cut to me, right? And guys, this is really intentional. Some of these setting calls are 30 minutes long. They're full-on sales process discussion, conversation, going deep into their process. Introduce yourself as the CEO. When you're on a sales call, you'd be shocked how many of you guys have watched calls from, you hop on the call, you don't even say your name, you just start the sales process. They don't know who you are. You could be a sales guy. They're going to treat you that way. You have to talk about your role. It's important. If you guys are going to talk to a business, you have a different level of trust and respect for the owner of the business than the salesperson, right? Reality is, it's just the case. So start your call. Hey, this is who I am. I'm the owner of this business. I'm the CEO. That means something. It holds weight. And you don't have to raise your hand, but I know a lot of you guys are calling yourselves account executives, right? Head of partnerships. And reality is you own your agency. This is a huge authority piece that you're just throwing out the window immediately by not even telling them what you actually do. Start doing this. It's huge. Use different terms. Our team. It's my team, right? I don't own bad marketing, but it's my team. On sales calls, yeah, my team can handle that. My team can do this. It's different. These little things really matter. And again, all of this stuff starts to stack up. So something to notice here, guys. This is an 8-figure e-com brand, right? None of them have, this is all their C-suite executives. None of them have, I don't know why that one's blocked out. None of them have profile images. We have these GIFs, right, of our faces. And the amount of big companies that come through being like, wow, this is really cool, right? Attention to detail matters. People notice these things. I bet if you went into some of these like Slack channels that you're a part of, nobody has profile photos on Slack, right? These little things matter. Authority, positioning is really important. And then finally, we all know that iPhone's just superior, right? Status, authority, use your iPhones. All right, this is gonna build the Jeff effect, I call it. This is my last analogy on authority, then we're gonna move on really quickly, okay? Anybody know what this meme is? My name is Jeff, right? Somebody hops on a sales call and they're like, hey, it's Jeff. Be like, cool, Jeff. What do you want, right? Jeff Bezos answers the call and is like, it's Jeff Bezos. You're gonna be like, upright, paying attention. You're not gonna ask any stupid questions. You think you're gonna cut Jeff off when he's talking about a new Amazon feature? No, fuck no, you're not gonna be doing that. This is the type of authority we wanna be building. And when we do all of these little things right in the sales process, this is where prospects will come on the call with that type of energy. I'm gonna listen to Curtis because he clearly knows what he's talking about. Wendy Marcetter impressed me. Curtis is gonna be next level, right? Make sense? We good? Yeah. Cool. All right, so now, does everybody get the point? Authority, we get it? Okay. So I'm gonna run you guys through our sales process here, specifically the framework that I follow on every single sales call. A couple things I wanna really drill home here. This is a framework for a reason. Who here likes SOPs, operations? Please be honest. Do you guys like it? Yeah, you guys all like your SOPs, right? So many people are winging their sales call, but they have these crazy SOPs in their background, right? I'm gonna call out Hunter here, I'm sorry, but Hunter has the craziest systems I've ever seen in an agency. It's wild what this guy has in place. He basically has a software company that he calls an agency. It's wild, right? But he was winging his sales process. So we need to have an SOP in place so that we can actually follow it to get the same result. Again, the little things matter. So this is our SOP to run every single call. To this day, I follow this to a T on every single sales call, no matter what, right? No matter what. It's not good enough to go through it once and then think about it the next time. Who here has a sales process like all mapped out? Cool. Do you guys actually have like a framework or a script on paper? Okay, be honest with me. Who here has it in front of them when they're taking a sales call? Okay, good. A couple of you guys, that's awesome. Most people aren't. Most people, they say they have a sales process, and I chat with them, it's in their head. That's not a sales process. Being in sales within your agency for a really long time does not count as a sales process. So having this framework in place, you're gonna build consistency, meaning those 50K months can happen every single month. Big thing. A lot of you guys are a couple consistent months away from doubling your business. And I've seen it time and time again this year. We're gonna prevent all objections with this framework. You're gonna have no objections at the end of your call if you guys execute this properly. Allows you to step out of your sales process. Who would love to one day not be taking sales calls, right? That would be incredible. But right now, if you're winging it and a salesperson comes in, Like, no wonder people aren't being successful. Who's hired a closer and them just completely burned miserably and you got let go of them really fast, right? Yeah, exactly, because they don't have a proper system that they can follow. I love Eddie to death, but when I joined Bad Marketing, we had nothing. We had a single pager with payment links on it that he gave me and was like, go sell.
And you sucked.
I did suck. I did suck. This guy didn't even have a single sales call recorded. I couldn't even watch anything. I literally had to go in there and just do my thing. And so this is where all of this has come from. A/B testing. If you guys do this properly, you could start to go, okay, we're getting a lot of price objections. I need to adjust this in my sales calls to prevent the next call. You guys can split test on the fly now within your sales process. This is how we're systemizing everything in our sales process to create a lot of consistency. Now, I'm going to fire through this because I know a lot of you guys have seen my framework before. I know a lot of you guys are currently using it. So I'm going to focus on a few key points, and I'm going to give you guys the framework so you have it after, but I want to kind of cover the main subjects that I want to kind of drill some points on. All right? So we start every call with a frame. The frame is how we start the call, with authority, right? Like we're talking about. Stop building rapport. If you guys have a lot of authority in the space in general, like an Eddie, and some of you guys do, some of you guys have that type of authority, you can get away with small talk because you're connecting with another person. But majority of us, people don't know who we are. People don't know who I am. I can't hop on a call and be like, how's your kids doing, right? I have to show that I'm here to mean business, and we're gonna get right to it. So I start on a call. The only question I ask them is, how's your day been? And I ask that because I know what they're gonna say. It's been good. And then I immediately start my sales process. That's the only question I ask them at the beginning of the call. We jump right in. Hey, you cool if we get started? Right, my name is Curtis. I'm the head of partnerships here at Bad Marketing. Today, I'm gonna ask you guys a bunch of questions about your business. I wanna go as deep as we possibly can. Then I'm gonna walk you through all of our packages and pricing. Right, what have I done here? I've taken control. I've shown them that my time is valuable and I'm not here to waste time. I don't care about the weather. I don't care about where you're located. Let's talk business. Let's get to this. Right? I know you guys respect people who mean business, who are direct, right? So show your prospects that's the way you operate. Now, what else am I doing here? I'm stating who I am. I'm stating my position, right? This is a status thing for you guys. You should be saying that you are the CEO of the company. It means something. Right after that, I'm setting a very clear itinerary. Some of you guys think you're doing this, but you're not. I'm gonna ask you a whole bunch of questions. I'm literally gonna drill you with questions, right? Then I'm gonna tell you everything that you wanna know, which is what they're here for, right? And then I get buy-in. Sound good to you? And they say yes. Now, they can't cut me off in 2 minutes in my discovery because they've just agreed that they're gonna wait to the end to get all their answers, right? Now I have more control over my sales process, just like that. This one thing has drastically changed businesses. Like, you guys would be shocked. This is the biggest thing that closers are doing wrong right now. Because if we try to rebuild rapport, right, you open up opportunity for somebody who has more authority than you to step in and take over your sales process. Has anybody been in a sales call where somebody hops in and they're like, just tell me what you guys do, right? Like, hey, so on this call, what I want to talk about, this is the problem that I'm facing, and they just start talking. If that's happening, you guys are not in control of your sales calls because you're giving up opportunity for that stuff to happen. Your frame is the most important part of this entire thing. This is what starts everything. This is your first impression. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Who here has had expectation issues with closers closing deals, and then they get into the fulfillment, and fulfillment teams like, what these guys, like, they have crazy expectations, they're talking to us rudely, they're doing all these things, right? If we can't step into our sales process and take control and show them that we have full authority, do you think they're gonna treat our team like our team has authority? No chance, right? This is setting the tone for an entire relationship. And so not only have I seen sales calls close more at higher prices, I've also seen retention increase by fixing this problem. It's significant. It's significant. All right, next thing, story, really simple. What are you guys here to talk about today? Like, what's the main pain point? We'll skip through that. M&M, metrics and marketing. This is all very intentional how this flows. This is how I'm literally running the sales call on every single call, and I write this stuff out in Go High Level, and I take my notes under it. Metrics and marketing. So a lot of people in their sales process, when they're digging into metrics and marketing, they're missing the point. You guys are asking what's currently being done so that you can try to figure out how you're going to showcase how you can do it better, right? Stop thinking that way. What are they doing that's going horribly wrong? What's the broken issue? What's the agency doing that's dropping the ball? Find the holes, find the problems, and point them out and rub your fingers into them. Make it obvious, make it painful. So on top of that, we want to be focusing on getting extreme clarity on our prospects and how much money they have, for example, which is where the metrics, the whole section comes in. So for example, Who here's got like a local business selling like lead gen for local marketing, like local businesses, right? Oh, not a lot of you guys, okay. So I'll just use this example because I think it's important. So say we're digging into metrics and I want to know how much money somebody has. This is going to set us up to be able to close bigger deals, so it's really important. So I'll start asking really simple questions and I'll stack it. So how many leads are you guys getting a month? Nobody's going to push back on the question. It's easy to answer. They tell me. What's your average deal size? They tell me. How much are you paying, or how much does it cost to acquire that customer? They tell me. Cool. I can now do the math on how much money this person's making, right? Kind of. Cool. What's your profit margin? Right? They're going to tell you. Do you think that's deep enough? Right? When you go way deeper. Cool. So in the local space, my dad ran a landscape company for my whole life. His net profit was what he paid himself. Right? That's what he took home. So you can go deeper that way. Hey, so most people we work with, when they say net profit, that's what they're actually taking home. So is this including what you pay yourself every month or after? Oh no, that's including. I'm now talking to a broke client who maybe you thought had 10K in profit every month that now has no money. Completely different sales call, right? I'm positioning our pricing completely different now at the end of this call. It's a whole different game. We can go deeper. Cool, what was your, so maybe you're working with an info offer, right? Who here has worked with a big client in e-com or info that said that they have big revenue, and then you get into the back of the books and it's completely wrong. It's completely off, right? Anybody been lied to in a sales call? You have to catch those things early. This is where you catch them, right? So this is the kind of questions I'll ask. I'll ask all these questions. I'll be cool, what was your revenue last month? They'll tell me. What about the month before that? What about the month before that? Right? Oftentimes people are like, yeah, we did 100K last month, but cool, what about last month? 20? What about the month before that? Well, we didn't have any revenue. This is a different sales call, right? Completely different. You can't take the stuff on face value. You have to go really deep. It makes a huge impact. Why? Because if I have a clear idea that my prospect, I'll use info for example, if an info offer comes in, they're doing 100K a month, they've got crazy profit margin, and it's actually true, right? It's the difference between me charging 10K to 20 to 30K a month for a package, just from a couple extra questions, right? This is how we double our retainers. Make sense? Go deep, go deep. Agencies, you guys need to be figuring out what exactly they've done in the past with agencies on the sales call. So a couple things so far, I just want to point out, guys, we've already covered financial objections. If somebody tells me they make 100K in net profit a month, do you think they're going to tell me that 10K is too expensive? No, they're going to look silly if they try to do that. So now I have no price objections on this call, if you do it right. Agencies, who here's had the agency objection? I'm talking to more agencies, right? It comes up all of the time. You need to cover the shit right now, right here in Discovery. Who have you worked with in the past, right? I asked them like agency names. I want to know, right? What happened? Did you like it? What did you like? What didn't you like, right? What went wrong? Was their communication good? Do you feel like it was a skill issue? I want them to tell me all of those things. Because then in the future, when we position ourselves, we can position ourselves as the answer to all of their problems. So you have to know. I ask them, and I get this answer clear to me every single call, how much are you paying your agency right now? If you find out that somebody's paying 10K a month for just Facebook ads, right, and you're charging 5K a month for like Google and Facebook, do you guys think you could charge maybe 10K now because you know that information? Do you think they're going to bat an eye at 10K retainer because they're already paying it? So why would we pitch way lower now that we have this information, right? This is significant. It makes a huge difference. There's nothing worse than closing a deal and somebody being like, yeah, we were paying the last agency way more. Cover this. Time and team. So really quick question of like, hey guys, when are you looking to solve X, Y, Z problem? Like what's the timeline on that? Is this and I always say, is this a right now thing, like a yesterday thing? Yeah, it's a yesterday thing. Cool. They can't tell me now that they need 2 weeks to think about it. They just told me this is a yesterday thing. And I'm going to keep them accountable to that, right? If somebody says something, they don't want to go against that. They don't want to change their mind or change what they've said 2 minutes later, right? They want to stay consistent to what they're saying. So make this part of your conversation. Team. Business partners, obviously, right? This is where we cover the business partner objection. And again, more nuance to this. So you're asking questions. How many employees do you guys have? Do you have a content team? Do you have a business partner? Do you have a spouse that is involved in the business? Yes, I do. Cool. Now that I know this, I can cover the wife objection right here. Did you talk to your wife before this call? Yeah, is she aware of the problem? Yeah? You guys agreed on like a price that you guys are going to invest into fixing this? Yeah, we have. Cool. Moving on. Right? Now I've just covered the partner objection. I'm done. Moving on. Outcome and goal. This is kind of like obviously a general one, but I want to know. This is also an authority piece. Somebody's like, yeah, I want to grow by 10% at the end of the year. Why only 10%? Like, why are we doing all this work, like putting all this time? You've talked to 20 agencies and you guys want to grow by 10%, right? I'm challenging them on their goals, right? We need to be thinking way bigger than this, right? This is not like we're going to fix one thing and you guys are going to have 10%. But also, if I don't have a clear picture on how much money they're making because maybe I missed it or whatever it might be, I can now go, how much do you want to make? How much are you making right now? Right? Now I have a picture. And then I can dig again so I can catch myself a little bit there. But also, we take them from where they want to go to where they are right now and we make that feel a bit painful. Right? How long have you been working to try to get this goal? 2 years? Damn, it's a long time. Pitch, 3 pillars. This could be a whole conversation itself, so I'm going to skip through this relatively fast. But pitching, what you guys should have and think about is 3 pillars or 4 pillars. Your first pillar must be your agency. Specifically though, everything you learned about what they don't want in an agency, you should be the opposite when you give that pitch. If somebody tells me they don't want to work with a big agency, bad marketing is pretty big, like a decent sized agency, right? I'm not pitching how big we are now. I'm pitching how we have a specific pod structure and how you're going to have 10 people that's going to be focused just on your business, right? I'm giving them exactly what they want to hear instead of being like, yeah, we're a big agency, and in the back of their mind, they're like, this is not what I want, right? It's important. So first pillar is must be your guys' agency. Specifically though, why you are going to solve all their problems. Okay, then you're going to go into your guys' offer after that. Cool. And then a close. We're going to slide down the pool. This is where we can start to collect some more cash, okay? At the end of our call, obviously this is where we're going to get objections. However, if you've done this framework to a T, you know exactly what's coming now. There's no guessing. There's no what's going to happen after I drop price point. You know. It's completely different. You can be proactive, right? You can position things better at the end of the call now. I rarely get price objections on our call. I don't get a lot of agency objections on our calls because I go so deep in all this process. The main objections that we get at bad marketing are logistics stuff. I'm in an agreement. I don't have inventory right now. Whatever it might be, we're waiting for investment. I literally have no money, whatever that might be. Maybe that's a price objection, but as an example. Price drop. Slide down the pole. So Eddie, I tried to get a stripper pole, but I broke, apparently ChatGPT, it's against their policy to use anything stripper related. So I had to make ship and come up with the fireman. So slide down the pool. What we're gonna do at the end of our sales calls, right? Now we found out our prospect has way more profit, way more money, right? I want you guys to start doing this. Who would like to up their pricing? It's pretty great, that'd be awesome. Now that we have a clear picture of how much money they're actually making, at the end of our call, we are always going to pitch a higher price no matter what, if they can afford it or not. The very beginning, I showed you guys that picture of an agency that did $55K in cash collected. Their average ticket size is $3,300. I ramped up a new closer onto that offer 2 months before. She closed an $8,500 a month retainer for local lead gen. It's the biggest deal they've ever had by double, and the only reason she got it is because of this, right? You get to the end of the call, you go to drop your price, you drop the highest price possible, right? And you see what they have to say about it. Hey, it's gonna be $30K a month. We used to charge $20K a month at bad marketing for info. We charge $30 to $40 now because we just started asking for more to see what they'd say. And out of every 10 calls, somebody just says yes to the higher price point. We can just close them right there. Some of you guys will start closing every deal at that price point and you'll be like, what the heck, right? The most common thing I see is agencies will often double pricing when we start working together because they just don't ask for it. Start asking for more money on every call. This is the benefit. You ask for more money and they're like, that's way too expensive. Use it as a trust tactic. Yeah, of course. I don't suggest going with this package. It's too expensive. It makes no sense for you guys. I highly suggest don't doing it, right? Don't do it. It doesn't work. But we've now, 1, we've built some trust. 2, they know there's another package in the future that they could upsell to if we do a really great job, right? Then I'll pitch them the price that I know is exactly what makes sense for them. Now that the price that works for them seems cheap, right? I don't get a price objection. I've now made this work in their favor, and nothing has changed in our process. The $30K package is exactly the same as the $20K package. There's no differences. I've just asked for more money, okay? And some of you guys are like, well, how do you do that? You have to add value. Like, what do I have to add for services? You don't. If you have authority, you can charge more money. And people will pay because they trust you, right? Because you have more authority than everybody else. Start asking for more money. This is a huge one. Every quarter, you should be testing your pricing and trying to get more money. Every quarter. Obviously, in some markets, you're going to hit a cap and you're going to find that cap. But I would way rather have clients at like 5, 6K a month than like 2K a month. or $4K a month instead of $2K a month, right? It makes a huge difference for your guys' business. You're way more profitable. We've doubled agencies in 60 days by implementing this and giving them more authority on their calls because they've just now collected twice as much cash collected every single month and they double in size. That's the only thing we've changed, nothing else. Cool. Make sense, everybody? Yeah. I know I went through that really quickly. There's way more to that, of course, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of an outline. You will get the document of all of this in detail that you can customize and use for yourself. But I want to make this point. If your closers have a lot of authority on these sales calls, setting expectations for your prospect is a completely different story, okay? We can now be way more realistic with our expectations. If I know they're in a ton of pain, hey guys, listen, this is going to take me the next 90 days to fix. We're not going to be profitable in the next 90 days. But you guys are in a huge issue. We're going to fix this. The last agency couldn't. This is why, right? And they're going to come into a partnership with really realistic expectations without any pushback because they trust me because I'm the authority in the space. And now our team has a way better time and we can over-deliver. But you don't have authority through the sales process at the beginning of your call, there's no way you're setting clear expectations. If you're being liked and you get to the end of the call and you set expectations, they're gonna be like, this guy's like, he's not that great, their offer's not that good, it's the same as everybody, and he's telling me now that I'm not gonna be profitable in the next 90 days, forget it, I'm gonna go talk to somebody else, right? All right, recap, this is the framework and bullet points. Eddie came up with this acronym, I hate it. I hate tomatoes. Unfortunately, though, it works, and a lot of people are like, tomato, now I think of you whenever I'm on a sales call because I think of tomato, and I hate that so much. But it works, right? Team offer, marketing metrics, agencies, timeline, outcome. Cool. I'm going to fire through these last things really fast, guys, just to make sure we have a bit of time for Q&A. Who here runs audits, right? Okay. Same thing we're talking about when it comes to authority. Who here, just tell me, what's your goal for an audit? Okay, you know. You just ruined it for me. No, so a lot of you guys are focused way too much on creating value and showing how good you are through an audit, right? That is not the point of an audit. The point of an audit is to show them that what they're doing is not working. That is the whole point. We want to create doubt. You want your prospects frustrated at the end of an audit because of how much money they're leaving on the table. This is how we do it. First, you hold your audits hostage. Nobody gets an audit unless they're on a call with me. Have anybody asked you to see the audit before the call, right? No. If you want to see your audit, you have to be on a call with me. I'm not sending it to you. You don't get it. You don't get access to it. It's mine until we hop on a call. This makes a huge difference. It gives you a position to be able to close. Hold it hostage and only use it if you have to. I try to one-call close everybody, and if I can't, I then go back to an audit. That is my backup plan as an audit. It's not something everybody gets. It's only if I can't close them, okay? Stop creating value, start focusing on doubt. This is how you do that. So these are our audits you guys have probably seen before in AFA, right? Goes over numbers, goes over some checkpoints of what they should have. It's a document, it's super simple. Everything that is not working is highlighted red. At the beginning of my call, I'm like, guys, you are leaving. Like this company was leaving $13,000 of spend, a wasted spend every single month, right? I started this whole conversation. Listen, guys, you guys are bleeding $13K a month right now. I can fix this and it'll pay for this entire project. Right? That's the kind of energy we're bringing to these audits. We're showcasing what's wrong. We're highlighting the negative. I tell them at the beginning, guys, everything highlighted in red is what's broken right now. And then I scroll at the beginning, and all they see is red lines. And it's like their heart just drops, and they're like, oh, right? And then I go through it just in really quick bullet points. An audit like this takes me like literally 15 minutes to go through, and it's so powerful. Cool. We're going to have time for a bit of Q&A, I think, but so that's audit process. I know that was quick, but I want to make sure I can finish this last part. Who wants to hire a solid closer, right? Everybody wants a good closer on their team. This is what I look for whenever we're recruiting closers. These are the main things to focus on. Expertise in your service. Stop hiring people because they know your client service, right? Don't hire somebody because they know content because you sell to content clients, right? Hire somebody that understands your business model better than anybody. Right? Expertise in what you're selling matters the most. I will take somebody that's an expert in, say, e-com that doesn't know sales skills because I can teach them sales skills, right? I can't teach them e-com the same. Are they coachable? Great way to test this, guys, doing interviews. Do a role play. Do it for like a 15-minute role play. At the end of it, give them feedback and then do it again. If they can't implement the feedback that you gave them, they're not coachable. Don't hire them. Right? If they can't change in real time, what do you think they're going to be able to do better after? No. Give them feedback, test that feedback. Are they hungry and why? Being hungry for money is not a good reason to hire closer guys because when they start making that money, they're going to start taking their foot off the gas. I've seen it time and time again. People come in and go, I want to make 10K a month. I want to make 15. I want to make 20K. They start making that and they just start chilling. You need to understand what their why is, big picture. A lot of people that we hire at Bad are wanting to be the best in the space and they don't care about money. They just want to be a part of the best team for as long as possible, right? Those are the types of people that you want to bring on. They have to also be realistic. Do not hire somebody that's like, I'm going to come into your agency and make 20K a month, because it's not realistic for a lot of you guys. If they're realistic coming in about the actual expectations of what they can close, it's a great place to start. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are still watching, I really appreciate it. I hope you guys got some value out of that keynote. If you guys are interested in Agency Founders Accelerators Mastermind, it's for marketing agencies over 100K a month. That is the bare minimum you have to be hitting to qualify. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Kurtanderton, or you can reach out to theagencyclosers.com and I can give you guys all the information and connect you over with Eddie. This is Eddie Malouf's mastermind in particular that he brought me out to speak at this event. On top of that, if you guys got some value and you are a marketing agency and or a service-based business looking for support on sales, whether you're an agency owner that needs feedback, sales call reviews, training, and or you have a full sales team and you're looking for management, hit us up at the Agency Closers. We do a bunch of different services around coaching, management, closer placement, setter placement, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up, shoot us a comment, and like and subscribe. Like twice.